We've made it to another city, Ibagué, Colombia. This city is not a place where most tourists go. In fact, when you type online, you won't find too much tourist information about it. So it's really got a lot of local vibes, which is really cool because it actually feels a lot more relaxed and chilled out. So the overall uniqueness is like it's a lot more laid back. The traffic isn't as heavy. We've actually heard some of the taxi cab drivers complain about like the traffic, and we're like, this is nothing compared to Bogota. But it is an awesome city to come visit if you're living in Colombia or a tourist, and it's going to give you more of those laid back vibes and really how normal Colombians live.
1 week in Ibagué and I will totally move here. It's only 5 hours away from Bogota and it feels very calm compared to obviously Bogota. But people don't look like they are at edge. Everyone seems to be very calm and chill, and I really like that. I really enjoyed that, and I think that is a great plus for the city. Climate is perfection. This is another reason why I really like this city. Right now it's pretty cloudy. There is not as much sun, but I'm still able to wear a crop top and jeans and sandals, and I am super comfortable. And it might get a little cooler at night, but still I won't need a jacket or anything that would cover me because it feels spectacular. The average height is like 82, and the average low is like, what is it, Johnny?
67.
67. So between 19 degrees and 26 degrees Celsius, it is perfection. It doesn't feel too hot. It doesn't feel cold at all. What are your thoughts on weather, Johnny?
Oh, the weather. I love it. I could live with this weather for my entire life. I mean, 82 degrees is enough for you to like break a sweat if you're outside long enough during the daytime. But then it cools off right now. It feels like about 70, and it's nice. And there's quite a bit of humidity here that I actually enjoy. So it's like a cool humidity that kind of like keeps your skin really fresh. I don't know. It's different versus some of the other places I've been. Like I would say that I like this weather better than Medellin and better than Bucaramanga.
Yes, I definitely agree with you.
Right now we are actually filming this on a rooftop, and this rooftop is pretty cool except for the fact that these jacuzzis right here, they don't have them operating, so we don't get to enjoy those at our Airbnb stay. However, I've noticed that many of the apartment buildings that exist across this entire city utilize their roofs some way, some given way, and that just makes it cool. So, you know, if you stay in an apartment in this city, you're going to get some sort of rooftop vibe and feel, and it's just nice. I'm really digging that. That's super cool,
And the views are pretty spectacular.
as you can tell. They looked better the other day. I'll probably show that B-roll, but the sun was like setting, but right now we got a big cloud.
It's
just
supposed to
blocking.
rain today, yes.
Yeah.
The apartment we're staying in, I really like the rooftop because you get the views. You get mountains on almost all sides of it.
Almost all sides.
Almost all sides. The mountains over there are a little farther, but you can still see mountains, and this is what I miss the most. Just looking at the mountains. It is pretty spectacular. The location of this Airbnb has actually worked very well for us. We are located across the University of Ibagué, and because of that, we see a lot of young people around it, and it's still pretty calm and chill. But the mall, La Estación, is right there. It's about a 5-8 minute walk, depending on our pace. But that's where the body take is, and you can find food, obviously restaurants around that area, really nice restaurants, like lots of decorations and just really nice restaurants. And then walking that way, there are also a lot more nicer restaurants, and there is like a food courtyard, and it feels a little more calm. There's not as many cars going that way, and the area gets a little bit more nicer.
In terms of safety, I feel like this city is a lot safer. I've seen people out with their cell phones on the streets. They're not like clinging onto their bags like you typically see in Bogota,
Yeah.
in some of the bigger cities. So people are just a little bit more at ease here, and that's really nice because it just feels really relieving. I'm sure there is crime somewhere going on. somewhere in the cluster of the city, but it doesn't seem like it happens a lot, at least in the area that we chose to stay. And that kind of gives me some peace of mind for just kind of like really just taking it easy and a little bit slower and not having that anxiety build up in my mind, which I like. When we go to other places in other cities, we are really interested in checking out different cuisine and different restaurants. Now, when it comes to Ibagué, I'm going to have to say that that's a big negative mark because I haven't seen a lot of different types of restaurants here. Obviously, because we've been staying in the biggest city in Colombia, which is Bogota, which has so many different types of restaurants. It's awesome, different cuisines. Here, like half the restaurants are Colombian food. And if there's one thing that the audience needs to know is that I actually don't really like Colombian food that much. I like that it is fresh, organic, and that it is just made the way it is. Like they just make potatoes and then they make the meat and it's fine the way they make it, but they don't really add different ingredients and spices. So there's not a lot of flavor I find in foods. And this is in contrast to like my favorite types of foods, which are typically like Japanese, Thai food, things like ramen, curries, Indian food. So yeah, to me, that's a little bit of a struggle. I know it is for Whitney as well, but what is nice is that you can find some restaurants where you can go get a $3 lunch. And we've been going to this one place. I think we've gone there, what, 3 or 4 times this week? And that's the only amount of time that we're staying here. But you can get a $3 lunch and it's delicious.
Another big plus for me for the city is how close everything is. We visited some friends outside of town, a little bit outside of town, and it took us 13 minutes to get there. Also, the cost of transportation, it is pretty affordable. That Uber only cost us about 8,000 pesos, and we were going outside of town. So that is a major plus for the city. Most of the Ubers we have been taking have been between the 6,000 range and the 9,000 pesos range. So,
how far is Bogota, Colombia from Bogota, Colombia?
yeah.
2-3 hours?
Maybe more depending on the day.
Okay, cost of living. I am gonna have to just kind of like think about like what I saw online. I've made a general analysis about Colombia. Okay, you can find a place to stay in any given city or town between $300 to $800. Obviously, the higher range is going to be a much nicer neighborhood, a nicer apartment complex, and if you're willing to pay that much for the nicer, more luxurious stuff, then do it. Food wise, I mean, you can get away easily with $300 to $500 in groceries per month, depending on.
Probably less here, I think, because it has been cheaper.
It has been cheaper here. There have been restaurants and just like some of the foods, I have noticed it is a little bit cheaper. So, I mean, just generally, between $300 or $500 in groceries.
Eating really well.
Yeah, eating good, and then of course, depending on how much you want to eat out, add another $100 or $500 depending on how much you want to eat out. So it just depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Transportation, a city like this, very, very affordable. I couldn't imagine spending more than, with the fact that we walk everywhere, if we were to actually live here, probably $50, maybe $100 if we were doing some activity that was a little outside of town.
But I do see in this city having a car or a motorcycle being very convenient to go to the activities that you may want to do in the area, because everything, it is kind of like 45 minutes, an hour away, and there is not always public transportation to those places.
It's true. And I'd probably get a scooter in this type of town.
Yeah. Traffic and the way people drive seems to be a lot more chill.
More chill, not as aggressive as you find in other places across Colombia, for sure. That's it. I would say in general, even Bogota, you could probably live with, if you're frugal, $1,000 in Bogota. 2,000 would be easy, for sure, but that's in general across Colombia. In terms of activities, they have malls you can go to. We always try to be.
Obviously. But no, there seems to be a lot of hiking and a lot of trails here. They are not as accessible as like the ones we normally do in Bogota. But I have come across quite a few local guides that they do hikes on the weekend, and it is about 5,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos per person. And they sometimes include transportation, sometimes they don't, but there are in those mountains behind, there are quite a few trails to go see waterfalls and just lookouts.
Yeah, somewhere in that direction is the Botanical Garden San Jose, right?
San Jorge.
San Jorge, sorry. San Jorge, and they actually have a hiking trail that is about 3 miles long. We did not know when we showed up, so it was a pleasant surprise because I was like, I could do a hike today. Where are the hikes? And then it happened to be one inside the Botanical Garden.
They have 3 different lookouts, and they have like a big loop of a hike, and then another trail that goes through the middle.
It was great. It was well worth it. We're doing something tomorrow.
We're going to the Combeima Canyon, which is it is a private finca, but they have a couple of trails, and they have a cable car that goes through the canyon, similar to like Chicamocha. You can also do the rice tour, which we don't have the time to do because they do require at least 5 people, and
Yeah.
I mean it's just the 2 of us. We don't know anyone else that might be willing to do it with us. But that seemed really cool because they would take you to the rice fields and they would show you like the whole process, kind of like a coffee tour but for rice, because this area is known because they grow rice.
Also, this area, what else is it known for? It is known for being the musical capital of
It's
Colombia,
the musical city of Colombia.
or city of Colombia, because this is where they wrote the national anthem of Colombia.
This
And-
is where the guy that wrote the national anthem is from.
Oh,
Also, Santiago
Fact
Cruz
checks.
is from here, but I don't know any other musicians from here.
yeah, and I've noticed that they've had a couple different musical like schools in the
Yeah.
area, like right next to the
Couple
botanical.
conservatories.
Yeah, there's a conservatory next to the botanical garden. There was another one in the downtown area, and I found that pretty interesting. So it just seems like a place that it does cater to like developing musicianship. I haven't seen a lot of live music or advertisements for that, but it does seem like a place where you would come to learn music and study music. So our time is coming to a close here. We are only spending 1 week in Ibagué, but it's kind of bittersweet because I actually really like how relaxed and at ease the city is. And we're kind of halfway in a search for like what town or city we might want to stay in a little bit long term in Colombia. And I'm putting this high up on the list at this moment in time because it is at ease. It's more my energy that I like.
Yeah, I really like this city. I would totally consider living here long term because of the mountains, the weather, and the easygoing feeling.
Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, all those things. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know if you've been to Ibagué and what you think and what we might have missed out on because we only spent a week here. So, peace out.
Ibagué. Ibagué.
Ibagué.